Each year on the Labor Day weekend, thousands of avid racing fans from all over the South make their annual pilgrimage to the spot where NASCAR Superspeedway racing was born. The Darlington Raceway in the rural community of Darlington, South Carolina. And here's the command they've all come for.
We've been waiting for. Gentlemen, start your engine.
And 40 cars roar to life here. Three things make this Darlington track so treacherous. All four turns are different. The surface is slick. Oftentimes, the drivers refer to it as bear grease that's out on the track. It's a sealant to preserve the asphalt surface that is some 25 years old. And believe me, it's always hot. That's why cotton flourished here some 25 years ago. The track temperature today, 125.
I'm Bill Fleming, welcoming you to this 24th running of the Southern 500. This is the granddaddy of them all, the oldest stock car race in the world, and perhaps the toughest. Let's call in Chris Economaki now, who'll be giving us some expert commentary throughout the day. Chris, the editor of National Speed Sport News. Chris, what's your analysis of the race today?
Oh, I think it's going to be a battle of the brands. We have four different make cars in the first two rows of cars. We've got some interesting sidelights. We have Bobby Allison going for his third straight Southern 500 win, and David Pearson trying to make his career earnings $1 million. A finish in the first five will do that. Lots of interesting stories, plus the heat. Very hot.
You know, Chris, 24 years ago, this was nothing but a cotton field out here. I think some of the drivers wish it still was.
Some of them think it's still pretty much a cotton field. They're just going too fast for the configuration of the track, they say.
Well, really get down to it, it's about a 120-mile-an-hour racetrack that you race on at 150. That's the best way I can explain it.
Really, the track was built in 1949 or 50 to take care of cars running at that particular time, and they was running 75, 80 mile an hour, and now we're trying to run 150 in the same given area.
It's all because the track is tight, and then coming off the fourth corner up here, you coming through the turn in a pretty true arc, and then all of a sudden you find yourself headed straight into the fence, and you have to make actually another turn up there. This track actually has 5 turns on it.
It's just almost a one-groove racetrack through the corners, and you got 40 cars out there. It makes it pretty tough.
The way the track is designed, the bank doesn't start until after you're in the curve, so you have to kind of cut the corner, which makes a real tight spot going in and coming out, especially in 3 and 4. Besides that, if that wasn't enough, they do use the bear grease here that's been famous for years and years here, and the track is a little bit slick.
Where can you rest on this racetrack?
In the pits, and if you got a good pit crew, it doesn't last very long.
Where can you rest on the track here?
In Victory Circle, that's the only place.
On the pole is David Pearson at a qualifying speed of 150.366 miles per hour. He's the leading money winner. He's won 9 races this year, out to make it number 10. We'll be back to start with the rest of the field in just a moment. The pace car is pulling off, and 367 grueling laps are ahead for these 40 stock cars. Here they come with David Pearson on the pole, Bobby Allison next to him on the outside, then Richard Petty and Darrell Waltrip next to him. Waltrip, a rookie, driving his first race for Bud Moore in the car that he took over for Bobby Isaac. And now we have the green flag out, and look at the acceleration of David Pearson. And Petty right behind him, and Glotzback right behind him. And what happened to Bobby Allison? He's 4th.
It looked like Pearson just dragged Petty and Glotzback through with him. Poor Bobby now back in the 4th hole, and this is a difficult track on which to pass, Bill.
It's also very, very slick, and as we mentioned, the track temperature 125 degrees at the start of the race. Richard Petty right behind David Pearson.
There's Petty sliding on that slippery surface. That's the sealer, and the hot sun is making the track bleed. It's mighty treacherous out there, Bill.
You can almost see a little slick reflection there, and there is somebody into the wall. It's rookie Darrell Waltrip.
This is going to cost him. The yellow light has not gone on. He's hoping for Rookie of the Year honors, and this is going to slow him.
Well, he gets Lucky of the Year honors because he was right there at the entrance to the pit row. So he's on into the pits, and the other cars are not even losing pace at all. Here comes Richard Petty right behind with Glotzback behind Pearson.
We've got a Mercury, a Dodge, and a Chevrolet in the 1, 2, and 3 positions, and these fans in the South are car conscious. They all have their favorite brand.
And I don't believe many of them sit during the course of a 500-mile race. There's Charlie Glotzback as he goes by Richard Petty in the first turn. Charlie Glotzback up from 6th place to 2nd in a matter of a couple of laps.
Now, Glotzback's been out of the headlines for a number of years, and he's come back in a mighty strong car.
Well, when you take a look at the list of great drivers who have won this race, Herb Thomas, Buck Baker, Buddy's father, Curtis Turner, Fireball Roberts. Of course, Petty has won here. He did it in 67. Leroy Yarborough, Cale Yarborough won in 68. Buddy Baker then won in 70. And now here is Glutzbach, and he's going to challenge for the lead. David Pearson holds him off.
Cale Yarborough in the number 11 Chevrolet is moved up into 4th place now.
So it's Pearson and Glutzbach is going to test him here down the backstretch. Pretty hard to get around David, who is the leading Buddy winner on the circuit this year, having a great year in the Wood Brothers Mercury.
And now it's Yarborough 3rd ahead of Allison and gaining on the leaders as they run into traffic. There's Jabe Thomas, number 25, ahead of Pearson's Purelator Mercury, and he goes by. Thomas, an all-veteran, moves down to give the fast boys room to race.
And for those of you who are following Richard Petty, he's back in 5th place right now. But here's the race, Pearson and Glutzbach. Charlie Glutzbach has never won on a super speedway. This would be a great win for him.
They've just gone by John Sears, Bill. From now on to the finish, the leaders will never be out of traffic. There's an 11-mile-an-hour speed differential between Pearson's pole-winning speed of 150.3 and the slowest car in the race.
And there goes Cale Yarborough. Cale squeezes off Glutzbach, and Cale now is right on the tail of David Pearson. It's Pearson, Yarborough, Glutzbach, and Bobby Allison in that order. Look at those 4 cars running at 150 plus.
You know, it's interesting. Cale lives just 11 miles from the track, the same miles that the number is on the side of his car, and this is a hometown crowd he's racing before, and that always gives you a little bit of a boost.
There's Bobby Allison going by Charlie Glutzbach into 3rd spot. So it's Pearson in 21. Then Cale Yarborough, Bobby Allison, and Charlie Glutzbach. And there's Richard Petty just coming into view, the 5th place car, number 43. Say, this has been some very exciting racing in this early going. From the very beginning, Pearson got the jump, but look at Cale. Down the chute, and he is by him. Cale Yarborough has taken the lead, and look at Bobby. Bobby also gets by and slides in, tucks in underneath Cale. So it's Yarborough, Allison, and then David Pearson, who was just a moment ago in 1st place, is now 3rd.
Bill, I have to pay the slower drivers a compliment. They are really doing a great job of keeping an eye in the mirror and getting out of the way of the fast boys. Oops.
Yeah, here's one of the 500-mile type cigars. This will last him the entire race. All right, Bobby Allison trying to challenge for the lead with Cale Yarborough. He's got it momentarily, but a slower car ahead, and he gets in.
Bill Champion right in front of him. That shows how Allison's Chevrolet handles. He's noted for chassis work, and that car really steers like a baby carriage.
We're on lap number 30, and Bobby Allison is followed by Cale Yarborough. Allison trying to become the first man in history to win this Southern 500 3 times in a row. Here are the 3rd and 4th place cars. David Pearson in 3rd, being challenged by Glutzbach. But here are the leaders, and Cale Yarborough is staying right with Bobby.
He's pushed Bobby to a new 30-lap record, Bill, of 145 and a fraction miles an hour. That's moving for a track this size, a mile and 3/8 around.
It is also moving on a track that is slick as ice out there. Really, when you watch those drivers handling these cars, you have to really wonder how they can do it lap after lap with this blistering heat.
Well, the Chevys are working
Look
very
at this.
well on the track today. And there goes Cale on the inside in turn 3.
And look at this. Bobby is down underneath him and gets the lead back. Inside of a space of 300 yards, we've had 2 lead changes in one of the toughest portions of the track.
You know, nobody passes in turn 3 until today. These cars are really set up to work. Junior Johnson's number 11, driven by Cale, is handling almost as well as Bobby's Coke machine. Uh-oh, here's Lenny Pond blindfolded.
Lenny Pond in car number 54, the hood release gave way, and at 150 miles an hour, he was also all of a sudden on instruments. That's quite a thrill with 39 other cars out there to try to avoid. He was very lucky indeed.
Pond is racing Waltrip for the season Rookie of the Year honors, and this will be a blow to that try.
Uh-oh, into the wall goes car number 90. That's Bud Moore.
Hang on.
Great job of keeping it under control. And
he goes to the pits. I'll bet his glasses are fogged. That was a wild ride, and why he did that? A slick track.
well, and look at this, no yellow. The observers of NASCAR feel that there's no reason to put the yellow out, so we're racing under the green once again, and here goes Cale trying to get by Bobby Allison on the backstretch. Cale Yarborough, who has led more laps in Grand National Racing this year, now has the lead, and Bobby tries to do it again, but can't quite get by. So it's Yarborough who holds off Allison on that attempt.
It's an interesting comparison, Bill, because Yarborough's car's got the power on the straightaway, and Allison's car handles better in the corner. Watch, because if Allison makes his time in the turns and Yarborough makes his on the straightaway, which makes for A1 racing.
And Charlie Glatzback is giving David Pearson fits out there in the battle for third. Pearson in 21 in third place. Glatzback in 28 is fourth, but he's very close to being third right now. By the way, don't forget to join our threesome, Howard, Dandy, and Frank, on NFL Monday Night Football here on ABC. Cale Yarborough from nearby Timmonsville, South Carolina, in the lead, followed by Bobby Allison.
And about a quarter of a lap behind, Bill. David Pearson third, pursued hotly by Charlie Glatzback. A close interval for this stage of the race. There's a spin.
And it's car 03. That's Tommy Gale in the spin. Apparently hit something slick down there. And here's another car. Johnny Barnes, car number 89. The yellow is out, and there goes another one. Jim Vandiver in 31. Apparently there's something slick on the track there because all three cars hit it. And we're out of shape, and we do have a yellow, and this will have a lot of pit stops. Here's another car whose number I can't see right now, but the yellow is out, and we'll be back with more of the Southern 500 in a moment. Thanks, Jim. Back here at the Southern 500, Bill Fleming along with Chris Economaki. We are going to have a restart now with the green flag out because at the pit stops there's been a scramble in the leaders. Allison Baker, Cale Yarborough, Charlie Glatzback, and here we go. It's Bobby Allison, followed very closely by Buddy Baker.
That 10-lap slowdown, Bill, cut 18 miles an hour off the race average, from 145 to 127 miles an hour, and that may kill the chance of a record.
Here is Buddy Baker, who won this race in 1970 at car number 71, trying to get the lead away from Bobby Allison, who has been the winner of this race the last 2 years. Buddy's father, incidentally, Buck Baker, won the race exactly 20 years ago. The first of 3 wins for him in the Southern 500. So there's a great family tradition going here.
Buddy's a big, burly fellow and must feel the heat on a tremendously hot day like today.
The last report, the track temperature 130 degrees. Can you believe that? And here's Buddy Baker trying to get by Bobby, and he's got him. And right behind, here comes charging Charlie Glatzback. Right up on Bobby Allison's tail, and right behind him, Cale Yarborough. Those are your first 4 cars.
It's the first time in the race that a Dodge has led. So we've had a Chevrolet, a Mercury, and now a Dodge setting the pace.
I tell you, Charlie Glatzback has been very competitive here today. He's running third in car number 28, that yellow car. And he's right up there with the leaders right now. Buddy Baker in the lead, and Charlie tries to go between them. Look at this. Glatzback gets the lead. And all of a sudden, the leader is back in 4th place, and there goes Bobby Allison by Glatzback. Chris, I don't believe I have seen racing like this on this track since we've been covering it. It almost looks like those precision daredevil drivers. Here goes Glatzback, try to regain the lead, and he's got it.
You know, the sanctioning body NASCAR has imposed carburetor restrictions on the cars to make racing a bit more equal, and my golly, it certainly is that. It's tremendous racing.
Right you are, Chris, and there is more great racing coming up on the NASCAR circuit this year.
Right, the National 500 at Charlotte, North Carolina on the 7th of October, the American 500 at Rockingham, North Carolina on the 21st of October, and the season closer down in Texas, the Texas 500 in College Station on the 18th of November.
And here's Bobby Allison trying to overtake Charlie Glatzback for the lead. Charlie Glatzback, who has won less than $4,000 this entire year, could really have a big payday here today.
You know, if I was Cale sitting back there, I'm not so sure I'd want to stick my nose into that first and second battle.
Here goes Bobby Allison, who's won close to $60,000 so far this year, and he seemingly easily gains the lead there. Now, perhaps he got a little bit of a draft and got sucked right along and pulled right by.
It could be, but that car is famous for its ability to go places other cars can't. You know, it's a remarkable fact. With all this passing we've seen, there's not a dent on anyone's fender. They haven't touched one another, which is a real tribute to their abilities.
And believe me, many times they've been running 3 and 4 feet apart, and here goes Cale Yarborough past Charlie Glatzback. So Cale Yarborough with great acceleration in that Chevy goes right by Charlie Glotzback and takes aim on Bobby Allison. Car just coming into your picture now is Buddy Baker running fourth. Those 4 cars have really been dicing here during the midsection of this race.
Down on the inside of the track is Bud Moore, an old-timer, making his return to Grand National competition in the number 90.
Number 12, Bobby Allison in first. Cale Yarborough, number 11, is in second place. Charlie Glotzback, and here's a car up against the railing. It's car number 98. That's it, Richie Panch. 18-year-old Richie Panch has brought out the yellow flag.
He's following in his father's footsteps, not by spinning, but by driving racing cars. Marvin Panch's dad was a great one in the early days.
So the yellow flag is out, and maybe, Chris, you can get on down there and get a word with this youthful driver on the NASCAR circuit. Johnny Bruner Sr. has the yellow flag out. They're still clearing the debris off where Richie Panch hit the wall, so the leaders are now pitting, and here comes Cale Yarborough in car number 11 in. Junior Johnson grabs one of those 10-gallon gas cans that weighs about 70 pounds. He handled these, by the way, like they're Tinker toys. Junior, a big, strong boy. Cale impatiently racing that engine, wanting to get going out there again before Bobby Allison gets out. Change the rubber on the right side. Fuel cap is on, and he's off. In the meantime, back in the pit area, Marvin Panch, the father of Richie Panch, taking a look under the hood. That car was badly dented on the left rear, and they're going to have to prune that out away from the tires before he can go back out onto the track. Now with a little leverage, with a big bar wrench, Marvin, the father, goes to work for Richie, the son. Now the pace car is off, and we're back racing again, and Cale Yarborough has the lead. A little faster pit stop than Bobby Allison had, so there's a switch for you. David Pearson now running second, and in third place is Richard Petty. Now to the pit area now, Chris Economaki.
When I went to the corner, the resistor wire fell off.
Ignition wire, huh?
Right, and when I went to get back on it to help keep control, I didn't have anything. And a car came around and I hit the wall.
So then you're out of the race, huh? What do you think of the track?
Well, I feel a lot better about it this time than I was here the last time. And
How old are you now?
I'm 18.
A June high school graduate, now age 18, Richie Panch, the youngest man at Darlington. He's out of it.
All right, Chris, and they're back at full speed once again, better than 160 miles an hour as they shoot by the camera on the straightaway. We'll be back with more of the Southern 500 very shortly, but right now, let's join Jim McKay for the conclusion of the World Table Tennis Championships. Thank you, Jim. Fortunately, here in Darlington, South Carolina, we have a little bit of an afternoon breeze now to cool off things a bit, but that sun is still blazing down on the Darlington Raceway track. And Cale Yarborough has the lead. He is pulling up on Buddy Baker. Buddy is the 5th place car right now, and if he is lapped, he will be 1 lap down. Cale would like to get as many cars as possible behind him, especially in that -1 position, 1 lap down.
Bill, the brace pace is in the high 40s, but the average is now up to 138.4 after having fallen to 127.7 after the yellow flag. They are really traveling on this racetrack.
And there, as you can see, Cale Yarborough put a lap on Buddy Baker. So Buddy is 1 lap down in 5th place at the current standings. And now here is David Pearson trying to get by Bobby Allison. This is the battle for second. And Pearson has Allison for second. Into the pits, Richard Petty. Richard is running 4th at this time, but this pit is under the green. That could spell trouble for the Petty team. And we notice that there is a relief driver, Lenny Pond, standing by. It very well may be that the heat has gotten to Richard. Yes, he's getting out of the car, in fact, being helped out of the car. And Lenny Pond, who's about 7 inches shorter, will get into that Richard Petty car number 43. Richard shaking his head, and maybe Chris Economaki can get a word with Richard Petty. Chris?
Just got to you, huh?
Yeah, just got where I was afraid I was going to crash. I could run real fast, but I couldn't make constant laps. I kept being so erratic, so I was afraid that, I'd get in trouble.
Okay, a very tired Richard Petty turning over to Lenny Pond in the running for Rookie of the Year honors on the NASCAR Grand National Circuit.
All right, Chris. NASCAR's $1 million winner, Richard Petty, is out, and here's a spin. Car number 61, Richard Brooks, has spun. He's headed in the right direction, but the yellow flag is out once again. Richard Brooks, winner of the Talladega 500 a couple of weeks ago. So the safety car has gone out onto the track, and that means we're going to have a lot of pit stops right here. Drivers taking advantage of the yellow to try to get fuel and rubber at this point in the race. 245 laps, and here comes Cale Yarborough into the pits immediately, the leader in the race. And I rather imagine David Pearson will be following very, very shortly. There's David just flashing right by. It'll be interesting here to see which car gets out first. Cale was in a little bit sooner. He's anxious to get rolling, puts it in gear, and here he goes. And say, David isn't very far behind. So inheriting the lead is Bobby Allison. But Bobby is going to certainly have to make a pit stop here very, very shortly. We've noticed that one of the early hot runners, Charlie Glotzbach, has slowed down, and I'm afraid we're going to have to report that Charlie is coming into the garage area. That's a big disappointment. When they pull behind the pit apron, it means they're all through for the afternoon. Back in a moment. The safety car is pulling off the track following that spin by Richard Brooks. And so we have a green flag out, and look at Cale Yarborough accelerate ahead of the field. As they come down the main straightaway, it's Yarborough in car number 11 out in front of David Pearson behind him, and it did seem as if Cale got a bit of a jump on them, anticipating that green coming out. Perfectly legal and a very good move. Yarborough, who has led more laps on the Grand National Circuit than anybody else this year, has the lead right now. David Pearson in second place, the leading money winner on the tour, trying to go over $1 million today. If he finishes fourth or higher, he can do it. And he's picking up some ground on Cale Yarborough, who is in the lead. There's the relationship. He's just about 3 seconds behind, and here's a spin. Car number 47, Ray Williams and Henley Gray tangle between the third and fourth turns. That brings out our fourth yellow of the day. Doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. Henley Gray in car number 19 unhooking his safety harness. Johnny Bruner Sr. has the yellow flag out, slowing the field down. Look at that left fender ripped to shreds as Henley Gray comes out of the car. Down in the pit area now, Chris Economaki to talk with Charlie Glotzbach.
Hot day, Charlie. Car looks okay. What's the trouble?
Well, Chris, the rear end is going out of it. And, rather than wreck the car, well, we just parked it because if it would lock up, well, you know what that would cause. It would tear up several cars.
You look like you might have been able to win it.
Yeah, the thing was really handling good and running good. It's really the best car I've drove in a long time.
Charlie Glotzbach losing out on a chance to win.
And another tough break for Charlie Glotzbach, who seems to have been dogged by ill fortune during the past couple of years. Hey, here's kind of a surprise. Cale Yarborough all of a sudden darts into the pit area. The signal has been given. We've got 1 lap to go for the green, and for some reason, Cale Yarborough, the leader, has come back in. He had a couple of laps to do it, but perhaps he felt that he needed rubber on the right side, or maybe he got word from the pit. In either case, he's in there, and he's going to have to go like the dickens to catch this field. That may very well have cost him the lead. Apparently some kind of a mix-up there between the pit crew and the driver, because Cale is going to be a bit behind when they have the restart here. Look at him go. He's trying to catch the field. He's got a clear shot ahead, but here's David Pearson, who is in the lead right now, followed by Bobby Allison. That second car is Buddy Baker, but he's a lap down. And here we go. The green is out, and David Pearson has the lead. As I mentioned earlier, if David finishes fourth or higher today, he'll go over the $1 million mark, becoming the second NASCAR Grand National driver to do it. Richard Petty, of course, did it first in this 25th year of NASCAR racing.
Bill, we checked on that Cale Yarborough pit stop, and it was a case of Junior Johnson seeing the Wood brothers flashing a pit sign to David Pearson. Monkey see, monkey do. So Junior called Cale in on the radio. But Pearson didn't stop. Sort of like Pavlov's dogs, you know?
Well, it could have cost Cale the race. It certainly cost him the lead. Here he goes by Bobby Allison. Bobby's car doesn't seem to be running as well as it should.
Well, I think he's having a little bit of problem with the running gear, the brakes. Let's get back to that pit stop again. The reason Junior wanted his man at the pit at the same time Pearson does is to keep the pit stops in phase, because he knows his car can outrun the 21, but he doesn't want to get beaten in the pits.
All right, unlapping himself there was Buddy Baker, as you probably saw, and here is Cale taking a bead on David Pearson. And here's Jim Vandiver is down on the inside, just entering turn 3. He's out of his car. No yellow on this, still green, so it's David Pearson, Cale Yarborough, and Bobby Allison in that order, with Buddy Baker a lap down in 4th. You know, it's kind of interesting. These drivers are very superstitious, as you know, Chris, and coming into the track today, a little frog hopped up on top of Cale's pickup truck. Cale saw him up there, and he said, hey, that maybe that's my new good luck symbol. If he wins the day, it certainly would be.
Now, Cale was a pretty good guy. If you remember, he gave us a lift into the grounds. We had to park so far away because of the large crowd.
And right now, he's going considerably faster than he did entering the track early this morning. The pace has picked up considerably. They're up, averaging around 133 miles an hour. We could have a record here today. And look how close Cale is to David Pearson. That's all that separates first and second place in this 500-mile race.
He's putting the pressure on Pearson. There's Cale now taking a... Oops, how about that? Beautiful handling by Pearson. I bet Cale's biting his lip.
I'll bet you David's temperature is about 150 right now. He was tapped on the left rear. Let's take a look at it again. Here it is. Let's see if we can see it closer, Chris. Yep, he touched him. And David just did prevent himself from going into the wall, and Cale has the lead. Oh, I can imagine what David is thinking right now.
Well, you know, it looked to me about 50-50 on the blame. David did a little bit of a dyno, and Cale was right there.
Back with more of the Southern 500 in just a moment. Well, ever since Cale bumped David to go into the lead, these two cars have been only about 5 or 6 feet apart, and look how close they are right now.
Oh, and there's David letting Cale know he's right there.
With a little bit of a touch, I think, right on the rear bumper. You know, the last time the Wood brothers had a car in victory lane in the Southern 500 was in '68, and Cale Yarborough drove their Mercury in relief. And now here he is leading David Pearson, who wants desperately to win his first Southern 500. He's won the spring race 4 times, but never here in the fall.
No, Cale must be happy. He's had a couple of lean years. He raced Indianapolis cars, and he's got 2 250-mile wins this year, but none of the big super speedway events have come his way.
And here he is, and now Pearson goes low. He's got the lead. What a move. Well, he doesn't hold it long. He had the move on Cale for about a fraction of a second. Cale saw him and cut him off on the inside. There's real racing.
I don't think he could have held his breath any longer going in.
Incidentally, don't forget there are more exciting thrills in store for you on Monday Night NFL Football here on ABC. Be sure to join Howard, Dandy Don, and Frank on Monday nights. And into the pit area right now is Bobby Allison. We mentioned earlier his car wasn't running quite right. I think they're going to raise the hood, and that is bad news.
That's right. The number 43 SDP Dodge was in the pits a bit ago, Bill, and Richard Petty returned to the cockpit. Lenny Pond gave it back to him. He's okay and back on the track.
Now they're calling it David Pearson. David is right behind Cale, and I don't know whether he's even going to heed that pit sign. Here's a point where a driver going out there hot and heavy doesn't want to have the distraction of having to come in. Eddie Allison, brother of Bobby, working on that right front. Bobby is really disgusted.
You know, here's an example of something untoward happening. A right front brake has been giving the car trouble. It never happens here at Darlington. You don't use brakes except to stop at the pits. And yet, it's slowing this car down and eliminating a chance for victory.
And eliminating a chance for his 3rd straight Southern 500 win. David Pearson getting fuel. This will be the last pit stop for Pearson today, I believe. They want to get him up and out just about 10 seconds. What a pit stop by the Wood Brothers crew.
You know what they say in stock car racing or any other kind of racing? Once the last stop is made, the pit crew can do no more. It's all up to the driver. And here's Cale now in for his.
It'll be interesting to see. Let's put the watch on him. Junior Johnson dumping that fuel in there. Until the wheels were moving 8.3 seconds. 1.7 seconds faster than David Pearson. That's really cutting it close.
Now, you know that neither of them took on fresh rubber. Fresh rubber would enable them to race faster and have a better bike. But they're out there now on worn rubber. And a slippery track, anything could happen.
Well, the more we think about that frog that hopped up on Cale's car coming into the track today, the more we wonder if it wasn't a good luck omen. Everything has been breaking right for him today. He's being pursued by David Pearson, but Cale Yarborough has the lead.
You know, the infield is absolutely packed full of people, Bill. So much so that very few were admitted this morning. Most were in here last night, making a weekend of it.
Cale Yarborough now has a 5-second lead on David Pearson. We have 6 laps to go, and if Cale can keep the pace up, he will have won his second Southern 500. There's Pearson. He's less than a quarter of a lap behind.
You know, Bill, winning at Darlington on Southern 500 day to a Southern stock car driver puts Indianapolis to shame.
And what a story it would be if this young man from Timmonsville, South Carolina, some 11 miles from here, should win it. Cale Yarborough used to peer over the wall when he was a little boy and watch the likes of Fireball Robertson, Joe Weatherly, and all of those fellows race here years ago. A dream come true. When he won here in '68, he'd like to have it happen again. And if you were with us for the early portion of the show, you saw him go over the wall in 1965 and walk away from it. Now the lead is 5.5 seconds. He's picked up a half a second on David Pearson on that last lap. So Cale isn't letting up a bit. He knows that he can't stroke it and hope to beat the leading money winner on the circuit.
Whoa!
Uh-oh, somebody is really in trouble. Car number 48, James Hilton, and another car, Henley Gray. He was involved earlier, Chris. Car number 19.
Like Vandiver, he's got 2 spins to his credit.
So that brings out the yellow. Wow, what a fortunate thing that could be for Cale Yarborough. With 2 laps to go, the yellow has come out. Could it be that Cale Yarborough will win this on the yellow? As you know, you cannot improve your position on the yellow. There's 365, 367 is the total for the race, and the yellow is still out. Cale may just be able to coast in and win this one. What a tough break for David Pearson, too. 1 lap to go. The white flag is out, the safety car is out, and it looks like Cale Yarborough had the luck of the frogs today.
Jim Vandiver may be a lucky man, too. We saw him get out of his car after he spun, but then he disappeared into the infield. The reason, apparently, because the report from his pit say there's 2 men there with legal service.
Now Cale Yarborough gets his hand outside the car to wave to the crowd on the backstretch. As he comes around the home stretch, everybody is standing, and you can hear the roar above the roar of the engines. The roar of the crowd, believe me, is even louder today. Cale Yarborough waving to everybody, a big grin on his face, and we'll get down there at the finish line to try to get a word with him to get his feelings. But here it is, the checkered flag for Cale Yarborough. And the speed, 134.033 miles per hour. What a happy Junior Johnson crew it is, and dollar signs go up on the pit boards.
Well, here he comes, Cale Yarborough getting the cheers of the crowd as he comes in to the finish line and shuts it off. Cale, this has got to be a big moment in your life.
Bill, it sure is. I'll tell you, it sure feels good to be back in the winner's circle after a long absence.
It's been 5 years since you won this race.
Well, it sure has, and I'll tell you one thing. I believe in frogs. I'm going to get me a whole bushel of them, I think.
Cale, how tired are you?
I'm not tired at all, Chris. Everything went so well. The car ran so perfectly, and, Junior Johnson and the car care group just did a fantastic job in pitting and everything. And I just got a lot of people to be thankful. Ashland Oil and the Chevrolet people, everybody. I just appreciate it.
Hale, your fans here from Timminsville are just tearing the roof off the grandstand. It's probably the most popular victory we've ever seen here at Darlington. Congratulations.
Thank you, and I thank them too.